the Bhagavats. I'm going to talk about the Bhagavats. So what the Bhagavat does, it's like, people often ask me, what was it like when you first met? Are we just now starting to? Okay. So people ask me, what was it like when you first saw Srila Prabhupada? That's a moment that I'll never forget. So what I remember, I hope I never forget, is that it was in the Chicago Temple, the old Evanston Temple. And I was in the foyer of the temple there, and Prabhupada came in, he walked up a few steps, and he walked it right in front of me. And as he passed by, I kind of felt like, have you ever carried a heavy load? You've had something that you've carried, like 2 bags of groceries, So I guess in today's language, $20 worth of groceries, that's a lot, Used to be I could carry $100 worth of groceries, but now I can do that with. But when you put down this heavy load, and you go like, oh. So I felt like some sort of a heavy load had been lifted. I felt cleansed. That's the only way I could, because many people, when I got back home, were asking me, what was it like when you saw Prabhupada? I just felt like I'd been cleansed. He just walked in front of me, And so the Bhagavats, or the devotees of Krishna, part of what the devotees do is cleanse the hearts of those that they come in contact with. If you're gonna clean your house, you need a clean cloth, don't you? If you start out with a dirty cloth, it may not do as good a job cleaning. So if your heart is going to cleanse other hearts, then we've got to tidy up your heart. Got to get it as close to spotless as possible. And so this can be done. This is not something that's foreign. We can do this. So I'm going to turn to Srimad Bhagavatam. That's what Prabhupada always said, Srimad Bhagavatam. We're going to go into the first canto, second chapter, verses 17 through 19. Stop me at any time with questions or comments, okay? So I'm thinking maybe I'll read the verses, because sometimes I talk too much and I don't read the verses, all the verses that I want, because I'm not as organized as I'd like to be. But so I'm going to read the verses, then I'm going to go back and touch on the points. Okay? So in text 17, Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul, in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his message, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Now, this is a verse that you could give a whole series of classes on right here, but I wanted to put others with it. But let me just, what's being said here? Krishna, who is the Paramatma. The Paramatma is you are the Atma, you, the soul, and we live in the heart region of the body. That's where we occupy this body. We are not this body, we're the driver. It's like in my car, I live in the driver's seat. We're not in the car, you see. So when you're in the body, this is where you live. You live in this area here. You occupy this spot. And you're driving this machine, this body. You're driving. It'll do whatever you want it to do. And we even start to think after a while that I'm in control. Why, I can, look at this, I can do this. I can do tricks, magic tricks with my hands. I'm in control. Although if you stop and think, you're not really, because how do you keep your heart beating and your breath going at night when you're sleeping? Why do things happen to the body that you can't control? Sometimes you have some sickness or something like that. Sometimes you need to sleep and you can't sleep. Sometimes you need to stay awake, but you can't. You have to fall asleep. You're not in control. So Krishna is the Paramatma, and he's in the heart with you, in that area. Sometimes people say, well, if there's a heart transplant, does that mean you have to go out with the heart? No, because you live in the region of the heart. If there's a heart transplant, they take your old heart out and give you a new heart, then you and Paramatma move right back into that seat, you see. So Krishna's there right next to you, and he's just observing. Now, why? Is he like a hall monitor, or somebody who's looking over your shoulder, ready to punish you if you do something wrong? No. Why is Krishna observing you?
He loves you.
Because he loves you. He's infatuated with you. If we can just start to begin to understand this, that God loves you far more. It says later on, but Prabhupada says in the purport, that Krishna's desire to be with you is so great that you cannot even imagine it. It's just like, can you imagine? It's like, what is it? This guy, Elon Musk. Now he's the world's first trillionaire. What does that mean to you? What is it? How much is a trillion? It's just a lot. But I can't understand, I can't say, well, if it was a stack of $100 bills, it would go from here to the moon. I don't know, you see. So by that same token, I can't understand because of my attachment to this world and my attachment, thinking that I am this body. I'm limited to the limitations of the body. I can't understand Krishna's love. I can't. Now, I should be able to somewhat understand his love as I advance in Krishna consciousness, because I start to love on a soul level and not on a bodily level. So I lost my place here. So we can't even begin to imagine. We'll get close to understanding as time goes by, but right now, we can't imagine how much Krishna loves us. We should meditate on that and try to figure out, I don't know about you, but I realized how much he does love us. I can't understand how much. But then the next question is, what? Why? Why do you love me so much? If you love me more than I can even comprehend, what is it about me that's that lovable? We need to know this. This isn't one of those things where people are going to tell you, you'll never know it. No, you need to know this. If you're ever going to get straight with yourself, you got to figure out, what is it that God loves me about me, that God loves me so much? Why? It's true and it's real. He's the supreme lovable object and the supreme lovable, and he is madly in love with you. What does that say about you? You are extremely lovable, unlimitedly lovable, when you uncover your corroded consciousness and when you cleanse the heart. So that's the title of today, the cleansing the heart. Did I say that? Okay. I want to say it again so everybody makes sure. So make sure you know. So the Paramatma is located in your heart with you. He's the benefactor of the truthful devotee. The truthful devotee. There are 4 pillars of spiritual life. You got to have them all 4. You take away one, it's just like a table has 4 legs. You take away one and the table falls over. You got to have the 4 pillars. With those, to support those 4 pillars, you need the 4 principles. And each one of those supports these pillars. One of these pillars is truthfulness. You need to be truthful. That's kind of hard to do because in the material world, it's kind of okay. I've read some articles on people who tell, or about fibbing in the human race. And we start to do it at a very early age. Little tiny kids and stuff. It's a material thing. It's not a spiritual activity. It's not a loving activity. Lovers, they're honest with each other. And that's what we want, honest and upfront. If you're honest and upfront with me, now I feel relaxed. I feel secure. When I'm with you, I don't have to interrupt my safe space. Your safe space becomes part of my safe space. See, I'm learning this modern lingo, and for an old guy, you can still teach an old dog new tricks. Safe space, I never heard of that. It kind of works when you use it, though. So, yeah, I can feel comfortable enough with you that you don't take away my safe space when you're around me. Why? Because I can trust you. Why? Because you're always truthful. And I know that, so that makes me feel good. So Krishna is saying, I'm the benefactor. I'm the guy who gives everything, well, to everybody, but especially to the truthful devotee. Right here in the verse. He's the benefactor of the truthful devotee. Now, for you to be truthful with everyone, you're going to have to start with yourself, aren't you? We're going to have to be honest with with ourselves before we can be honest with each other. If I'm not honest with myself, there's not much of a chance that I'm going to be honest with you all the time. So, and if you're honest with yourself, that's just being a really good friend to yourself. And we need all the friends we can get, don't we? So we want someone who will be honest with us and us to be honest with them, but that's not going to work unless I'm honest with me first. I got to do that. So if you're like this, if you're the honest devotee, then Krishna will cleanse the desire for material enjoyment from the heart of this devotee. He'll cleanse away your material desires. And if you're honest with yourself, with him, this benediction, I guess, he's the benefactor, part of him, comes from cleansing away the material desires. I don't know if I want that, though. Do I want that? Do I want to get rid of my material desires? Well, theoretically, yeah. I mean, I read the books. The books tell me I should get rid of my material desires. Can I keep some of them? So this is the predicament that we're in. Krishna is saying, hey, I will benedict you by taking away your material desires. And you're like, oh, yippee, but aren't there some of them that I can keep? I still lust for this, and I still lust for that. And I just wrote Santa Claus a letter asking for an iPhone 18, no, 17. I asked Santa Claus for an iPhone 17. But once I get that, then I can let go of all my material desires, except I've always wanted a BMW. You see, it just goes on and on. Krishna, I want you to take away my material desires. But not today. Maybe, hey, what are you doing next Wednesday? Maybe we can get together next Wednesday. You can take away my material. Well, no, I was going to go to the game on Wednesday. Okay, so maybe next week I'll call you and we'll set up a time. We'll get together. You take away my desires at that time. You see, so it's going to be one of those things we're going to pass down the road until we're ready to give up our material desires. And then Krishna will say, now that you need to take away those desires, or give them to me. So, but if Krishna takes away our desires, won't that leave a void? I mean, what's going to replace those desires? I mean, I've lived my life on these desires. I've made my decisions based on these desires. I am where I am today because of my desires. See? I don't know, maybe I want, how can I separate? What's Krishna again going to give me in exchange? Anybody? What do I get? If I let him take away my desires, am I just devoid?
Well, Krishna's going to give you his desire, higher desire.
Yeah, Krishna's going to let you know what a real sweet desire is. You know? Krishna's going to say, wouldn't you like to be in love with me? I mean, there's nothing like me. Well, I'm the most lovable, most attractive. You know, why settle for anything less? I'm going to give you pure love of Godhead. And from that, you're going to be able to purely love all living entities. You've got to cleanse the heart to do that. So that's the essence of this verse. So, Krishna's ready to clear the desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his message, which are in themselves virtual when properly heard and chanted. See these little, I used to have to deal in the law a lot when I was doing contracts with my clients back in my household days. So I know the value of commas and periods and punctuation and reading, you know, what's being said here, you know. When properly heard and chanted. Okay, now I need to know a definition on it. What do you mean? This message that I should receive, it should be heard properly. What does that mean? I should be attentive. I should pay attention. If I'm trying to make spiritual advancement, I should, first of all, try to be hearing from someone that I have faith in, that they're going to tell me the truth, you know, and not for some material benefit of their own, although they may call it a spiritual benefit. I gotta know that they're going to shoot me straight and not manipulate me. So my hearing has to be good, and I have to pay attention. And if I'm the one chanting this message, if I'm the one talking, giving the message, then I can't be motivated except by anything other than wanting to serve my spiritual master. Now, some people would say, what about serving God? If you serve the spiritual master, you are serving God. That is a fact. All of our scriptures say that. If the spiritual master is bona fide. If he's not into serving his spiritual master, dedicated, then he's not bona fide. If he's not bona fide, you don't want to hear anything. No matter how fancy his words may be. You don't want to hear it. Best that you don't. So, I'm going to go on to the next verse here. I got a feeling I'm a little behind time. You know, but what the heck. Okay, verse 18. Very famous verse. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised by transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. reading these little fine, this is the fine print of what's saying. This is going to be established by regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam or any hearing from Shastra. And by rendering service to the pure devotee. All that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. Now that should sound pretty attractive. Still, we have a lot of troubles that come into our heart, don't we? We don't invite them. Well, some people do. The way they live their lives, they ask for it. Have you noticed that? You know, we've all noticed that. People that you may counsel, I know that through your decades of counseling, you've had people that come to you with problems and you realize this is your own making. You know? Sometimes I've seen people that have a problem with alcohol. And the doctor tells them, if you don't stop drinking, your liver's going to fall out. And they find fault with the doctor. You know? Well, I don't know if he knows how to read blood tests or whatever, you know? So, yeah, I've seen that. Many of us have had experiences with people like that. So, loving service to the personality of Godhead is established. You have to start doing some loving service. If you're going to feel love, how do we show love? By saying it? I mean, that's probably one of the most repeated things in our world. I love you. And sometimes it's not said enough, but sometimes I think it's said way too much, because I think that it's much better to show it than to say it. If you demonstrate how you feel, if you feel about someone and you love them totally, is it necessary to say that? I love you. Yes, and maybe not always, though. Many years ago, I met a couple. I was changing planes in London. And so I had a long stop, layover. And Heathrow's kind of a good place to have a layover, London Heathrow's. So have you been there? It's interesting. I mean, first of all, it's like the most expensive shopping mall in the world. I mean, it's London. You've got all of this mixture of all these different.
Narahari's going next week.
Oh, you're going to, yeah.
Or 2 weeks.
It's like a mixture of every country in the world. You see, I mean, it's just like, it's always fun to go through there,
The whole of London is like that.
Huh?
The whole of London is very international.
The whole thing is like that, really.
Even if you go on a bus, everyone's speaking a different language.
Yeah. And so anyway, there was this little couple sitting there, and they were holding hands, and they were very, very old. I don't know how old they were. But I just thought I'd got some time, so I thought, let me have some fun with them. I said, yeah, I see you guys holding hands. Are you going steady? Do you think this is going to get serious? And they giggled, and I found out they had been married for 60-something years, 63 years. 63 years. So I thought, wow, I've got to inquire about this. How have you guys stayed together all this time? And I said, I guess you probably tell her you love her very often, don't you? And his face went kind of blank, and I looked at her, and she said, no, he really doesn't. And I said, oh, I know. I might have stepped on it here, but they're going to be fighting, Hope they're not on my flight. And then she patted his hand, and she said, he never has to tell me that he loves me. He shows me every minute of every day. But once in a while, he'll say it. Special occasions. Just a special occasion. By the way, I love you. I haven't said it in a long time, but I show you every minute of every day. So, not showing it and saying it every minute of every day, that's a little empty. You got to show it. You got to live it. It's got to be your relationship when you're in love with someone. But this should be with your spouses, with your children. What to speak of the Supreme Godhead? You should be demonstrating that every minute, every heartbeat. You should be thinking, how much I love you and how much I care for you. But for us to do that, we've got to hear about him. Tell me about this guy. He's the source of love. I need more information for me to fall in love with him. It's hard for me to imagine just how beautiful Krishna may be, isn't it? The closest, I think the biggest help, at least for me personally, and many of my older godbrothers, the biggest help that we can get in realizing how beautiful the Supreme is to see that guy in Mayapur. Am I right?
Mhm.
When you see Radha Madhava, when you see this Madhava standing there, he defines beauty. And if you look at him long enough, if your heart is in the right mood, he'll show you a little bit more. You see? So you get to the point when you're looking at Madhava, you realize this is the supreme personality of Godhead, trying, not very well, to impersonate a marble statue. He's not very good at it. Because when he shows you a little bit more, he doesn't have to show you, when he shows you a little bit more, it'll take your breath. I was standing next to Bhakti True Swami, who lived in Mayapur. Very established devotee, pure devotee. Oh, he stayed there. He had a nice apartment there. And the curtain opened, and we're there. We're looking up at Madhava, and I could feel some tears. Sometimes Madhava would just cause you to cry, tears of joy, cooling tears, slightly, And so I felt Bhakti True Maharaj just not even thinking. He put his hand on my this part of my arm. We looked at each other, and he had tears in his eyes. And he said, "How is it that after so many decades, he still does this to us? He takes your breath. What could he do if he showed you 100%? What would you do if Krishna showed you 100%? Wow, we got to get ready for that, don't we? So Krishna wants to show you 100% of his beauty. If you're the most beautiful object, wouldn't you want to be observed? Krishna doesn't want to keep this to himself. He knows he's the most beautiful. You're almost as beautiful, but not quite. He wants to look at you, and he wants you to see him. George Harrison was saying, I really want to see you. Well, Krishna is singing, he's writing a song, I really want you to see me. I want you to see me. And you will. When your desire catches up, the desire isn't fully there yet. So, I'm going to read this last verse, and then we can talk a bit if we want to. I love this verse. As soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effects of nature's modes of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness, and he becomes completely happy. So what's he saying? As soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart. What does this mean? What kind of double talk is this? I don't know if any of you have ever dealt in international trade, but if you're buying something from outside the country, I don't know how it is today, but 100 years ago, when I was doing things like this, you had to set up an irrevocable letter of trust. I'm buying $5,000 worth of something from you and your company in India. And so how do you know I'm going to give you the money? Well, I go through a financial entity, I give them the money, and it's irrevocable, meaning I can't take it back. So I put up the money that I owe you. Say it's $1,000. And then you ship the goods, and then they give that money to you. So I don't know what they call it today, but it used to be an irrevocable letter of trust. So this is what Krishna wants. I want you to get to the point to where you love me, but you won't revoke it. He doesn't want to come to you tomorrow and have you say, well, I loved you yesterday, but not so much today. Krishna's not a cheap lover. He wants the real deal. He wants eternal love. Well, and you do too. Nobody wants temporary love. So as soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, it means I love you so much that I want to do stuff for you. I want to do so much for you that I'm not even concerned about doing for myself. Now, some people in the material world may say, well, that's not healthy. You should do for yourself, right? Well, if I'm dealing with my fellow man, that may be true. I have to look out for myself. But if I'm dealing with the Supreme Godhead, don't you think he is capable of and has an intention to take care of me? Who do we think has been taking care of us since time immemorial? It hasn't been us. I don't know about any of you, but I've made a lot of mistakes. Krishna never makes mistakes. He never miscalculates. You see, he's been taking care of me. I mean, every one of you in this room is at a highlight in your life. Well, you're at a highlight in all of your billions of lives that you've had in this material world. Because you're here, you're associating with Bhagavats, devotees, you're chanting the holy name, you're hearing the holy name, and I'm kind of hoping we're going to take prasadam. Yeah, there's prasadam. Okay, so that you get that. That means you can't do any better, except your desires for material enjoyment will decrease as they're replaced by loving devotional service to Guru and Krishna. The spiritual energy pushes out the material energy. Truth conquers the untruth. Spiritual energy is true. Material energy is false due to its temporary nature. It's real, but it's changing constantly. Does the truth change? Truth is eternal, isn't it? If it's true, it's true. There are no yeah buts. Oh yeah, but no, it's either true or it's not. It's a black and white issue. Sometimes there's some what seem like to be gray areas. Basically, it's either true or it's not. You see, if it's true, it's true. It means it's always been true. It always will be true. So, Krishna says that the effects of nature's modes of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, will disappear from your heart. Now that's good, isn't it? Of course, there's a little bit of, I have to correct it here. Does lust actually disappear from your heart? Is lust, we're going to talk about this tomorrow when I give the class at the temple. Is lust bad? Huh?
How you use it. Depends on how you use it.
It depends on how you use it. It depends on which way you point it. If I'm pointing the lust pistol at myself, I'm lusting for what I want, well, I'm going to get tangled up in desires. Lusty desires, material desires, for moi. You see, I'm going to be looking out for good old me. And when I'm looking out for me, I don't have time to look out for you. Maybe a little bit. Maybe I'm real expert and I can convince you that I care, but basically we all should know that the materially illusioned living entity, which is pretty much everyone, is just looking out for themselves. You see? You look around, that's nature. The creatures out there, they're all looking out for themselves. We identify with our bodies and we think, well, I hear people say, well, humans, it's okay for humans to do this because the animals do it. No, we don't follow what the animals do. We should be more advanced than the animals in our consciousness. We have the brain that will allow us to go there. We should think like humans, not animals. And Prabhupada, I remember Prabhupada when he was leaving the country. It was in New York, I believe it was 1976, after the Rath Yatra, the first Rath Yatra in New York. So Prabhupada's getting on a plane. Reporter sticks a microphone in Prabhupada's face and he says, Swami, what did you think of America? Because he had just toured across America. What did you think of your tour across America? Stuck the microphone in Prabhupada's face and Prabhupada looked right into the camera. And it was like a CBS or NBC. It was a big thing. It wasn't just like some local guy. Of course, even in New York, local is big. But, Prabhupada said, you have a nation of cats and dogs. But I mean, Prabhupada was such a loving, living entity that nobody was offended. Nobody was offended. Prabhupada could say like that. He could tell you the absolute truth. Simply chasing here and there for sex life. Nobody, he didn't get any bad press. So we don't want to be like the animals. You see? We want to be like the devas, the devotees. We have a lot of human beings that do behave like animals, although they're in human bodies, but they have animal traits. And so what we're hearing here is that if you regularly associate with the devotees and regularly hear about Krishna and devotional service, then these desires will leave you. You'll start to take on the traits of a true human being. Oh, that's me. Okay, good. If it's an emergency, they'll call back, I guess. Yeah, at my age, I'm always waiting to, who's going to die next? You know? You think like that too?
Tell me.
Oh. I'm talking to the old guy.
Yeah, yes, I do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not whining. It's just that, I have so many of my godbrothers that are just dead like flies, I've even stopped looking at some of these, like Dundavats. I'll put that off for a few days when I get that email. Because who now? It's having a bunch of old friends that you've known for 50-something years and you're seeing them one after the other. But that's what's going to, so I'm thinking maybe that's somebody telling me somebody just died, So it's like, oh, okay, all right, I'll deal with that later. All right. Then the devotee becomes established in goodness and he becomes completely happy when these lusty desires are taken from the heart. And I was saying before, lust is bad when I want to do for me. Lust, there's actually a Sanskrit word lolyam, which means lusty. But in our Vaishnava tradition, we understand that lusty to serve Krishna. I'm lusty to please Krishna. I want Krishna to smile. And he's empowered me, and he will empower me more and more to make him smile. And that's what I want to do. So this lust to show my love for Krishna. And if I'm going to love Krishna, I have to love all the parts and parcels too. That's all living entities. All living entities, not just the human beings. Not just the human beings that vote for the candidate that you vote for. not just the human beings that are the same color, their bodies the same color as yours. Not just the human beings, all living entities. I need to focus my lust on loving Krishna, and that will immediately cause me to feel some love, a growing love for all living entities. So that would cleanse my heart if I could ever do that. Any questions or comments? I think we've got time for one or twosies.
What were the 4 pillars?
Ah, she's paying attention. Did you bring her?
I brought her.
I'm freaking out right now. I'm like, which are you guys twins?
Yes.
So I'm trying to figure which one I've known the whole
Me.
time. I was like, what the heck? There's 2 of them all of a sudden.
Yeah, all of a sudden there's 2. I've seen you before,
Yes.
but I when I saw the 2 of you together, I thought I'm just old and I'm seeing double. Sometimes I see double. What are the 4 pillars? Truthfulness, austerity, cleanliness, and mercifulness. So truthfulness is aided. We establish truthfulness if we follow the principle of no gambling. Gambling means that I'm trying to bluff you, that I've got more. Yeah, I've got that ace that you think I might have, so I'm trying to bluff. Or I don't have it, but I want you to think that I do, So gambling will destroy truthfulness. So first and foremost, we abandon gambling. Mercifulness is destroyed by animal slaughter. We can't feed on the flesh of innocent animals. It used to be when I first became a vegetarian in 1972 or 3, I don't remember. Anyway, people would tell me, well, you're gonna die. You can't live. They would tell you, well, you gotta have it. You're being a fool if you don't eat meat. You're gonna dwindle away. You're gonna get sick every time. Every time I would catch the flu, I'd call in to the office, I'm sick, I can't come today. Well, it's because you don't eat meat. Well, wait a minute, you eat tons of meat, you're sick more than I am. But that doesn't matter because you're the weirdo, you don't eat meat. So, mercifulness is destroyed when I kill some animal or pay somebody to kill some animal for me. Because not for my health. You can't say, well, I need it to stay alive. No, you don't. That's been proven scientifically. I think the world understands that you not only don't need it, but many places, many people have understood it's not only do you not need it, but it's detrimental. I just read an article yesterday that says that it is, if you're going to live a long life. So austerity. Sometimes you have to do something that you'd rather not do. It's like you got a test coming up. You got to study for this test. But he wants to go out and get a pizza, have some fun. That's what I'd like to do. Man, I got to do this austerity. I got to study for this test. Because if I do this, then the reward is I'll pass my test. So austerity is destroyed by intoxication. When I'm intoxicated, you want to go get a pizza? Oh, yeah, you bet. What about studying? I don't do that later. I'll stay up all night, or I'll get up, or I'll just not do it. So cleanliness is destroyed by illicit sexual activity, cats and dog activity. Prabhupada was amazed when he got to America in 1965, immersed in the hippies, and they were like cats and dogs having sex here and there. So become married, mate. If you're going to have sexual activity, have it with one person. You see, It's degrading to have sex freely. Spreads disease, spreads karma. People don't think of things like karma. You know? Which one am I forgetting? Did I do this?
I think you said them
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
You said
Said 'em all.
all
Did I get them
Yeah.
all? Okay. So no meat eating, no illicit sexual activity, no gambling, and no intoxication. Those are the 4 regulative principles that help us with our spiritual life. Good question.
Do you have something else?
No.
Just the verses you read tonight were very, very dear to Prabhupada's heart. He quoted them in his Markine Bhagavat Dharma. He said, Krishna, how can I possibly make these people Krishna conscious? How could I possibly make them hear? And then Prabhupada, in the poem, he's kind of responding with the Bhagavatam, like as Krishna's answer. He says that verse from the Tasvakata Krishna, that just by hearing your message, which are in themselves pious and virtuous, the hearts will be cleansed. By regular hearing of Bhagavatam, you'll be established in your heart. Then the effects of passion, ignorance, lust, and greed will go away. And then it says that Mukta Sangha Sajayate, that they'll become liberated from material entanglement by firm fixation in Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga. So Prabhupada loved those verses.
Yeah.
So much so that when he came to America, beginning of his journey on the Boston Harbor, he'd never seen snow, didn't know anybody, this is possibly going to die. He was thinking of Krishna on the boat and wrote those verses. So.
Yeah, this is these verses, this subject is very dear to Srila Prabhupada because it's spreading the absolute truth. We're giving you the truth. If you want to know God, then you've got to hear about Him. If you're going to fall in love with someone, you're going to have to learn a little something about that person, aren't you? So, in the material world, very few people seem to know very much at all about God. Some people will say, "Oh no, He's all merciful." Tell me something about God? Well, He's all merciful. All right. So, this is the same guy that sends a tsunami that wipes out half of Japan. That He's all merciful. Can you explain that? How does that work? Well, there is an answer to that, but they're like, well, no. All right, well, God is. What do they know? For over 50 years, I've been asking people of many different faiths, tell me something about God. It's got to be a very limited answer. And sometimes I've had people tell me, well, who knows? Nobody knows. All we know is He's great. And sometimes He's in a really bad mood. And you better watch out because He'll do something to you, turn you into a pillar of salt So, but as far as somebody chanting the glories of this most beautiful entity, the source of love, that's kind of rare. So you need to seek out someone who has accumulated enough knowledge that they can tell you about this all lovable, all attractive entity. But your hearing has to be good, and their chanting has to be good. Sometimes there's, what is it, Prabhupada calls professional reciters. People, you hire somebody to quote Bhagavatam. We don't do it, but sometimes there's festivals in India, and they'll hire a Brahmin, and he sits there and he reads Bhagavatam, chants it like that. Well, that's not what Prabhupada's talking about here. Or someone who, there's a new term, someone who weaponizes scripture for their benefit. I want to manipulate you into doing what I want you to do or to defend me from something that I did wrong. So I'll start throwing scripture at you, not for your benefit, not to cleanse your heart, but for my benefit. So they I've seen people actually do that. Many people have experienced that. But, if we have different people, that want changes within ISKCON, sometimes I've seen them weaponize scripture to say, well, we should do this because, Krishna says this. Well, no, we shouldn't because Krishna says that. So it gets, the contaminating feature is self-interest. I'll quote, if I quote scripture for my interest, I'm going to do you harm.
So when you could distinguish between, sometimes people believe they'll get rid of desire if they give away all their material possessions, but that doesn't necessarily get rid of the desire. Sometimes Krishna will take away our possessions to help us depend more fully on him, but that also doesn't take away desire. Prabhupada talks about becoming materially exhausted. What does that mean exactly?
It's not that we give away everything. Krishna doesn't want you to necessarily get rid of all of your material. If you have wealth, give it all away. Some people think like that. That's kind of an impersonal thought. No, real detachment is to have it and use it in Krishna's service. Prabhupada said that's true sannyas. Someone who is in grihastha life, someone who's married and uses their wealth, whatever wealth they have in their home, whatever, they use their family life as an offering to Krishna. Prabhupada says in the 7th canto purport that he is the true sannyas of this age. Even though he's not wearing saffron, he's the true sannyas. Because he has it, but he uses it. He's not attached. He's like oil floating on water. Krishna may make you very wealthy as a devotee. And he may take it all away. Although when Krishna takes everything away, what he gives you in replace, he doesn't leave you in a void. What he gives you to replace that he took away is 1 billion trillion times more better than what he took away. It's immeasurable. What he gives you in return. You see. So that's an excellent question. That's not letting it all go, becoming bereft. No, it's using what you have in Krishna's service, in service of your fellow living entities.
I've been reflecting on the Avanti Brahmin a lot.
Yeah.
Because, he lost so many things, so many friends turned against him. And what he realized was that Krishna is the only friend. Krishna is the only friend, and that's the real detachment, not that we let go of things, we give things away. It's realizing that I have no one but Krishna. Krishna is my only close friend, Guru and Krishna. And so that realization makes you naturally don't want anything but Krishna, because you know that everything else is just some temporal illusion. It has no steadiness. It's not real.
Krishna, if you look at your life, some of you are so young, it's hard for you to have a good view of looking at your life and having it tell you the full picture. Maybe it takes a few more decades for you to look back and see this whole story, your story. But once you look back at what Krishna, the relationship that you're having with Krishna, what he's taken away, what he gives you, you get a clear understanding of that. You do. That sometimes Krishna just wants you to say, my dear Lord, it's just you and me, isn't it? But that's more than enough.
Such a relief, actually.
Yeah.
Coming back. We have those moments.
And then Krishna says, no, it's not. It is just me and you, but it's also me and the others who realize it's just you. In other words, it's this loving family of people who realize, Krishna, I don't have anything but you. And the association of other people who feel they don't have anything but you. brotherhood. So Krishna consciousness should bring people together. It should weld us together. Unbreakable weld of love, trust amongst one another. If we don't have that in our community, it's broken. And when it's broken, it needs to be fixed. Things that need to be fixed, that you let go on for a long time without fixing, what happens?
Become used to it.
They become more broken. And you become used to it. This becomes the norm. I can't think of any examples now, but I can remember going to someone's house, especially back in the days before I was a devotee. I'd go visit someone. A lot of people were in the hippie mentality. And so there was a lot of intoxication, and something would break, but they wouldn't fix it. They just adjust to it, And I can't think of any examples, but something like when somebody's just going to get something out of a cabinet, they have to do something extra because the door will fall off or something. And you think, well, it'd probably take you about 10 minutes to put a hinge on there. But, not now, man. I want to throw one back and put on a Led Zeppelin, and I'll fix that someday. It's like, having a hole in the roof. Well, when it's not raining, I don't need to fix it. And you can't fix it when it is raining. So that kind of mentality, it becomes the way I live my life. I live a broken consciousness. We are broken, but who isn't? No. These things have to be fixed. The heart needs to be cleansed. If you don't clean your house, it's like one time I heard somebody say that it's a lot easier to keep a house clean than it is to clean a house. Or a room, whatever. You have a room. If you keep it tidy, well, then you never have to devote a whole morning or a whole day to cleaning the whole thing up. So we do that with our hearts. We keep our hearts clean. We cleanse them and keep them clean. That way, we don't just become accustomed to, it's broken, but oh shucks, that's the way I am. No, you fix these things. You see. And to do that properly, we have to associate with people who will help us recognize when our hearts are dirty. And we need to realize that without becoming upset. Well, you're picking on me. You're saying my heart's dirty. So no, you're not my friend anymore? Well, I am your friend. I'm telling you, your heart needs to be cleansed. So people that in love will tell you when you need a tidying up. And then have the knowledge and the love to actually help you get there. The desire. Not a personal desire for themselves, but a desire for you as their service to their Guru and Krishna. As a service to Guru and Krishna, I want to help you. Not a self-motivated. So it's hard in this material world. There's so many self-motivated people that want to take advantage of you for their own, whatever, their own benefit, somehow or other. You see. It's very difficult to find someone who's just looking out for you. So you've got to find someone who has that relationship with Krishna. And Krishna, all I've got is you. But if I have Krishna, I've got everything. So the devotee feels like, I feel like I can understand to some degree how Elon Musk might feel. He's got everything. Now, I can't go buy a $1 billion yacht. So I don't have material goop like that. But I feel wealthy because I have Krishna. I have everything. I have more love than I can ever possibly deal with. For eternity, I'm going to be sorting through this love affair with Krishna. And so are you. So for eternity, you're going to be trying to figure out this love thing that we have going on with the source of love. And you're never going to figure it out because it's always increasing. His love for you is always increasing. So this is your future. you're going to be so wrapped up in this love of the Supreme Lover that you're going to forget everything else. Nothing else will have any attraction. Hey, what do you say we go to a sports bar and throw back some beers and watch the World Cup? What is the World Cup? Is that soccer?
Soccer.
Yeah, let's go watch the soccer game, you know. Is that going to appeal to you? No, I'm caught up in this. God, look at how beautiful he is. And he's like in love with me and I can't figure it out. You know? So you're not going to be thinking about, oh, gee whiz, oh, yeah, Krishna loves me and he's fantastic. He's the source of love and everything. But boy, I miss this and I miss that. I miss trying to find true love. What? You just found it. Supreme, eternal, true love. You're not going to miss. I miss being lonely. I miss being ignorant. I miss not knowing. I liked it when I was ignorant. No, you like it in knowledge much, much better. So, all right, I think I talked over a little. But.
All right.
Hey, it's Father's Day. I get to talk a little more.